Welcome. I'm Maggie Andrews, one of your business relationship managers here at RE Colorado. Today I want to talk about August market statistics, and you probably felt that August was a really busy month for your business. In fact, the data shows us that this was a record-breaking month in many ways. So we want to talk about the RE Colorado August stats, which cover the 11 metro counties around Denver. And this includes residential listings only, but it does include attached and detached properties. Today I'm going to year-over-year statistics, which compares August of 2020 to August of 2019, and month-over-month stats, which is August compared to July of this year. Let's jump into the numbers. We will start by talking about new listings. So throughout the month of August, we saw over 6,800 new listings hit the market. And while this was a 10% decrease as compared to July, that's not all that surprising because July was the highest count of new listings year to date. So a slight cool down is not unexpected. However, we did see a 2% increase as compared to August of last year for new listings. Next, we'll talk about pending listings. This is where we saw all good green arrows going up. We saw a 9% month-over-month increase as compared to July for pending listings. And the big jump was a 34% increase as compared to August of last year. In fact, this over 7,400 listings that went into a pending status in August is a record for the Denver metro area. This is the highest count of pending listings we've ever seen on a monthly basis for the Denver metro area. And pending listings tells us a lot about the buyer demand that we're seeing in the Denver metro area. We've seen that buyer demand has been sky high since the stay-at-home orders were in place in March and April, and there was a big downturn then. But we have seen much higher numbers and pending listings continue to remain high. In fact, that probably tells us that we probably need more new listings to come to the market or more inventory in order to meet or fulfill this buyer demand. Pending listings also tells us what we can often expect from upcoming months of closed listings. So I would predict that we will likely see higher closed listing numbers throughout September and maybe into early October as well. Speaking of closed listings, we did see a decrease of 13% as compared to July. But again, July count of closed listings was an all-time record. So it's okay that we slowed down a little bit. We are still much higher as compared to previous years for closed listings. In fact, 12% higher as compared to August of last year. This was a record breaker as well. This was the highest count of closed listings of any August on record. So again, closed listings tell us a lot about buyer demand, and they also can help us create some trend lines in terms of the typical buying and selling season. Oftentimes we see the selling season from about March, and then it tapers out at the end of August. Well, because we had that delayed start to the spring selling season with stay-at-home orders, we saw spring selling start in about May, and now it's probably continuing a little bit longer past August, past when we would normally see it cool off. Next up are average close prices, and this is a really fun topic because close prices continue to increase in the Denver metro area. In fact, we saw a 11% year-over-year increase for average close price, which is quite significant. And on a month-to-month basis, it was less than a 1% increase, but still increasing. The record breaker here is that blue line for single-family residences. This is the first time we've ever seen the average price exceed $600,000 for single-family homes. So this is fantastic for your homeowners and sellers out there. They probably have great equity in their property, and now might be a good time to list their house for sale with the buyer demand being so high and prices being so high as well. Let's talk about inventory next. So typically when inventory is discussed on a national level, we talk about months of inventory. Well, because the Denver metro area is such a hot market, here we talk about weeks of inventory. And in August, we only had 4 weeks of available inventory. This is 3 weeks less than August of 2019 and unchanged from July. So throughout the summer months, we have had very low inventory at only 4 weeks. Next, we're going to transition to year-to-date numbers. So these charts tell us the total number of new listings and closed listings throughout the year that have occurred from January to end of August. And what we're pointing out here is that the gap continues to shrink as compared to previous years. So we would expect that with the pandemic slowing down our market, we would be significantly behind the year-to-date numbers from 2018 and 2019? Well, good news is we've had a really robust selling season throughout the summer, and we are closing that gap and approaching the normal totals from 2018 and 2019. If you remember from our market stats video last month, we were down -6% and -3% for closed listings and new listings. And so again, that gap continues to shrink. Let's give you a little recap so that you can share some of this information with your clients. The big takeaway here is that even though the pandemic slowed down our typical buying and selling season, or stalled it, maybe delayed it a little bit, our year-to-date numbers continue to grow for new listings and closed listings, and we are closing the gap, getting closer to those 2019 totals. We have seen a record number of pending and closed listings in August, which show a very strong buyer demand throughout the Denver metro area. And with a limited supply of new inventory, or a low number of new listings, as well as a high buyer demand, we are seeing increases to closed prices, as well as a decrease to the weeks of available inventory. I've said this last bullet point for a couple months now. Inventory will continue to be a challenge moving forward unless we can get additional new homes and new listings available in the MLS. Thanks for joining us to go over August market statistics. If you have questions about stats or how you can generate your own market statistics, I encourage you to register for a training webinar called Market Intel. Feel free to share all of these RE Colorado statistics with your sphere of clients, either through social media posts, listing presentations, or any type of e-newsletter or flyers that you send out to your customers. We are always available to answer questions, and you're welcome to leave questions and comments in the box below. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week.